Hello there, everybody, and welcome. My name is Tamir Moore, and welcome to the latest episode here on my YouTube channel. Also, I will invite you to follow me on social media as I often post there a lot. You can check out the links to my Twitter and Instagram profiles on this intro screen. And one last quick thing, you can check out my latest video by clicking the card in the upper right corner. And now it is time to start today's featured episode. And now, live on tape, here is Tamir Moore with this week's filming of What You Need to Know. From Soldier Field in Chicago, Illinois, Fox Sports presents the NFL. A big NFC North showdown comes your way here in Week 16 as Josh Jacobs and the Green Bay Packers take on Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. Green Bay 9-4-1, and Chicago comes in with a 10-4 record. Now, good evening, everybody, and welcome inside the broadcast booth. Welcome to the studio, and this is episode number 13 of What You Need to Know. I'm your host, Tamir Moore. It's great to have you with us, everyone. Happy holidays. Hope you had a great week. Great to have you with us, and obviously, this is a Saturday episode, so obviously a day earlier than our traditional Sunday upload. It's great to have you with us here. Hope you're enjoying the weekend. Hope you're enjoying the college football playoff. And, of course, did you see that Rams-Seahawks game the other night? It was crazy. That was insane. It's great to have you with us for this special Saturday edition of What You Need to Know, episode 13. We have a great game that we'll preview here today, here in Week 16, as the Packers face the Bears for the second time this regular season. Some housekeeping items before we get into the show in chief today. Last week, for episode 12 of What You Need to Know, we previewed the game between the Detroit Lions and the Los Angeles Rams. If you have not watched that episode and would like to watch it right now, you can do so by clicking the card in the upper right corner. This is the fourth time that we've done a Green Bay Packers game this season. The first time we covered Green Bay was in Week 11 against the New York Giants. Please click the card in the upper right corner for more information about that. Then on Thanksgiving Day, of course, we covered the Packers game against the Detroit Lions. If you would like to learn more about that game, then please click the card in the upper right corner. Then the following week, we covered the first Bears-Packers game that the two teams played at Lambeau Field. Again, please click the card in the upper right corner for additional information about that game. And here we are, Week 16, the fourth time that we've done the Green Bay Packers this season. This is the third time that we've done a Chicago Bears game this season. We covered the Bears for the first time way back in Week 3 against the Dallas Cowboys. You can click the card in the upper right corner or in the description of this episode below for more information about that game. We covered the Bears Week 14 against Green Bay. Again, card in the upper right corner or in the description below. And we're covering the Bears for the third time this season. So excited for this game. There's a lot on the line for both teams. We'll get into that in just a moment. We have 3 parts of the show as per usual. We got the reference notes, the injury report, and the game capsule. So settle in and enjoy episode 13 of What You Need to Know. And one last quick thing as well before we start. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified of all of our newest content. We post every single week here on YouTube. So if you like football and you like to learn more about it, then this is the place for you. So I will definitely appreciate if you will do that. We are still at 57 subscribers, people. I did say we're trying to get to 100 subscribers for the end of 2025. 2025 is going to be over in less than 2 weeks. So let's try to get that subscriber base up as quickly as we can. Tell a friend, tell a foe. We're trying to build the independent media space as quickly as possible. If we can't get to 100 subscribers by the end of this year, then we will reset that goal to the end of 2026 instead. I appreciate all the support you've given me since we started this new series back in September. Appreciate the comments, appreciate the likes, everything that you've done to help the show get better. I really do appreciate. So appreciate that. Okay, we got that taken care of. Let's get into section 1, the reference notes for this Week 16 battle between Green Bay and Chicago. As you notice, it is cold here in Chicago tonight. Temperatures are in the mid-30s for this game. Let's see what the temperature is going to be when this game kicks off here tonight. I think it's going to be in the mid-30s. 37 degrees or thereabout. At least it's going to be dry, but it's going to be very cold here in Chicago. Temperatures are in the mid to upper 30s. That is why I'm wearing a winter jacket here for this episode. You did notice I wore a sweater 2 weeks ago. It's a lot colder in Green Bay than it is tonight. At least it's modestly cold. Last week, we brought the shirt and tie back. And this week, I'm just adding a winter jacket on top of the shirt and tie that I'm wearing for this week's episode. All right, let's get into the reference notes now. Josh Jacobs and the Green Bay Packers 9-4-1 visit Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears 10-4 for a Week 16 Saturday night primetime showdown with plenty on the line. The teams are meeting for the second time this year. Back in Week 14, the Packers defeated the Bears 28-21 at Lambeau Field in a tight game, and now Chicago is seeking revenge in this crucial NFC North showdown here tonight. Packers 9-4-1. Last week, they went to Denver, lost 34-26, a heartbreaking result for Matt LaFleur's team. And of course, they began life without their star pass rusher, Micah Parsons, who tore his ACL last week. As you know, Micah Parsons is out for the remainder of the season. That's a big loss for Green Bay. And Micah, our thoughts and prayers are with you. We are praying for a quick and speedy recovery and hope we'll see you on the field at some point next season. Next week, the Packers will host the Ravens on Saturday, December 27th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central Time in a Peacock exclusive broadcast. As for the 10-4 Chicago Bears, they've won 6 of their last 7 entering this game tonight, including wins over Pittsburgh and Philadelphia during this time. In the most recent game, the Bears dominated the Browns by winning that one by a final score of 31-3. Since late October, Green Bay is the only team to beat Chicago in the game. Next Sunday night, the Bears have a huge NFC showdown as they face Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers in a Sunday night football game scheduled for Sunday, December 28th at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time, 5:20 p.m. Pacific Time on NBC, featuring Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, and Melissa Stark on the call. Okay, before we get into the injury report, let's take a look at the playoff picture. Coming into Week 16, into the Saturday slate of games, the Seattle Seahawks, after their wild comeback winning at the Rams on Thursday night, lead the NFC with a record of 12-3. And right behind them are the Chicago Bears, who lead the NFC North with a record of 10-4. They at the number 2 seed in the conference, a 1-game lead over first place Philadelphia. Remember, Chicago beat the Eagles back in Week 13, so Chicago owns the head-to-head tiebreaker. Chicago trying to grow their lead in the NFC North. They have a 1.5-game lead entering this game. And then you go way down to number 7. That's you'll find the Green Bay Packers at 9-4-1. They have a little bit of cushion over the Detroit Lions. Remember, Green Bay beat Detroit, both meeting during the regular season. But look, for the Green Bay Packers, they're living on the edge right now. The Green Bay Packers, this is a must-win for them. If Green Bay loses this game, you can basically kiss this division goodbye at that point, because then you're a game and a half back with 2 games to go. It's going to be really hard for Green Bay to catch Chicago once the Packers win out and the Bears lose out. If Chicago wins this game, then Chicago can clinch the division as early as next week with a win against the San Francisco 49ers. If Green Bay wins this game, then the NFC North is tight again. Just 1.5 game will separate these 2 teams entering the penultimate week of the season. So this matchup holds a significant amount of weight. You have Tampa Bay, the number 4 seed, the Rams, the number 5 seed after that heartbreaking loss on Thursday night. And then you have Detroit, Carolina, and Dallas still in the mix, albeit the Cowboys, their playoff chances are all but shot. Basically a 1% chance for Dallas to get in. The Lions are lurking 8-6, Carolina 7-7, so very much alive because of the division race in the NFC South between themselves and Tampa. So in other words, there's a lot on the line for this Week 16 game between Chicago and Green Bay. All right, let's move on to Section 2, the injury report. Unfortunately, there's a ton of injuries that both teams are contending with entering this Week 16 game. Let's start with the Green Bay Packers, and unfortunately, they got some key players out for this game. Let's start with the players who are not playing, right? Let's start with Evan Williams, the safety for the Packers. He's been dealing with a knee injury. He did not participate in practice this week. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Okay, that's not it. Let me just take a step back here. Okay, here we go. Normally, I would have highlighted my stuff, so give me a second here. I'm trying to get my bearings together. It's been a busy day of prepping and recording and all that sort of stuff. All right, let me get a pen or something. Give me 1 second, folks, so I can properly do this segment. All right, here we go. Okay. Here we go. All right, so let's start with this. Let's start with Packers running back Marshawn Lloyd. He's been dealing with a calf/hamstring injury. He did not participate in practice this week. He is out for this game. And of course, we all know the Micah Parsons situation. That's been well documented by this point. Okay, yep. Let's talk about tight end Josh Wiley of the Packers. Concussion he's been dealing with, did not participate all week. He is out for this game. As far as the Bears are concerned, they're going to be missing some of their top receivers for this game. Roman Doomsday, the young wide receiver out of Washington, is out once again with a foot injury. Did not play last week against Cleveland. Out against the first straight game now that Doomsday is out. So that means Doomsday would not have played against the Green Bay Packers at all during this regular season. So obviously that's a big loss for the Chicago Bears. Doomsday did not practice all week, out for the first straight week. So that's the big loss right there. And also out is Luther Burden, rookie out of Missouri. He did not participate, dealing with ankle injury. He is out for this game. So Chicago is going to be down some key people in the wide receiver department, meaning some other players are going to have to step up, take on an elevated role to try to fill the void. Now, as far as players who are questionable for the Green Bay Packers, let's start with running back Chris Brooks. He's been dealing with a chest injury, limited participant all week during practice. He is questionable for this game. Defensive lineman Kinsley Anabare has been dealing with an illness. He did not participate in Thursday practice. He is questionable for this game. Josh Jacobs, the Packers running back, has been dealing with a knee/ankle injury. He did not participate Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. He is questionable for this game. Offensive lineman Zach Tom is dealing with a back/knee injury. He had to leave with a knee injury last week, the Denver game. He did not participate in practice all week long. He is questionable for this game. Okay, let's talk about Packers wide receiver Dontavian Wicks. He's been dealing with an ankle injury. He did not practice on Tuesday. He was a limited participant Wednesday and Thursday. He's questionable for this game. And safety Evan Williams has been dealing with a knee injury. He did not participate Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday during Packers practice. He is questionable for this game. And as for Chicago, DeAndre Swift is dealing with a groin injury. He was limited in Bears practice on Thursday and Friday. He is questionable for this game. Tight end for the Bears, Cole Kmet, is dealing with an ankle/knee injury. He was a limited participant on Tuesday and Wednesday, full participant on Thursday. He is questionable for this game. Bears defensive lineman Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, non-injury related personal matter is his status on the injury report. Did not practice on Wednesday or Thursday, and he is questionable for the game tonight for the Chicago Bears. Matthew Golden, the Packers rookie wide receiver out of Texas. We'll talk more about Matthew Golden later in the show. Wrist injury for him. He was a full participant. He's expected to be ready to go for tonight's game. Jordan Love, shoulder injury that he's been dealing with. He was a full participant all week. He's expected to play in this game. Jaden Reed, non-injury related, dealing with a personal matter. Jaden Reed did not participate on Wednesday. He was a full participant on Thursday. No injury status whatsoever on him. Packers defensive lineman Lucas Van Ness has been dealing with a foot injury. Did not participate on Tuesday. Limited participant on Wednesday and Thursday. No injury status. And Christian Watson, remember he had to leave last week's game with a chest injury. Christian Watson did not participate in Tuesday's practice. He was limited on Wednesday and Thursday. He is questionable for this game. And we'll talk about Christian Watson more in just a second. And boom, 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 boom. Yep, those are some of the notables here. And okay, so those are the key players who are questionable, who are in, and who are out. Always important that we do the injury report. I look forward to doing this segment each and every single week with you guys. Okay, let's go to the game capsule. We have 20 keys to talk about, and we will dissect to get you guys prepared for this NFC North showdown that we will be watching on this Saturday night from Chicago. Let's start with the top of the game capsule. Let's run it back one more time. Division supremacy in the NFC North is at stake tonight for this Packers-Bears game in Week 16. The Packers head to Soldier Field for this game. Let's talk about the Green Bay Packers' remaining schedule. After this game, they'll have the Ravens next Saturday at Lambeau, and then they're at Minnesota the final week of the year. They're currently the number 7 seed in the NFC, the last team in the playoff field. As for Chicago, they're at San Francisco next Sunday night, and then they'll host the Detroit Lions here the final week of the regular season. They're the number 2 seed in the NFC at the moment, only behind the Seahawks, who are 12-3 after that crazy win on Thursday night, as I mentioned earlier, who possess the number 1 seed in the conference. Key number 1, Packers beat the Bears. We literally just saw this matchup 2 weeks ago. We covered it on this show, if you recall, and we are covering both ends of Packers-Bears this year, if you can possibly believe that. Green Bay, of course, beat Chicago 28-21 back in Week 14. The two teams literally just played 2 weeks ago, right? Packers quarterback Jordan Love had 3 touchdown passes in the Week 14 game, including 2 to Packers wide receiver Christian Watson. Love was intercepted in the game. He passed for 234 yards, and he had a quarterback rating of 120.7. Packers running back Josh Jacobs ran for 86 yards and a touchdown in the Week 14 meeting between the teams. And the Packers defense held Bears quarterback Caleb Williams to 186 yards, picked him off to clinch the game with Keyshawn Nixon, the worthy recipient of that pick to seal that game. As I mentioned before, Packers wide receiver Christian Watson suffered a chest injury last week in Denver, did not return to the football game. He's questionable for this game, and Packers will really love if Christian Watson can play. Hopefully he will play tonight. Packers guard Zach Tom, we also mentioned this earlier in the injury report, departed from the Denver game with an injured knee. Hopefully he'll be ready to go for this game. And give me a second here. Just like Christian Watson, Zach Tom also questionable for this game. And then, of course, the Micah Parsons injury. We all know it's towards ACL, non-contact injury. Awful to see that. And hopefully Micah Parsons is already starting the recovery process as we record tonight's show. Key number 2, Bears offense 2025. The Bears have put up 24 points or more in 5 of their last 7 games. You can make a really strong case that Bears quarterback Caleb Williams is fresh off of one of his best performances of 2025 so far. In Week 15 against the Browns, the Chicago offense registered 31 points. They went 3 for 4 in the red zone. Scoring 30 or more in cold weather is very impressive. Key number 3. Bears quarterback Caleb Williams, Week 15 against the Cleveland Browns. He passed for 242 yards, 2 touchdown passes. He was not picked off once in the game. Finished with a quarterback rating of 112.5. He threaded the needle. He took advantage of the receivers and the target that Williams had available to him. And it's good to see Caleb Williams get a quarterback rating above 100 because he's had a sub 84 quarterback rating in 4 of the 5 games prior to last week against the Cleveland Browns. Key number 4, Packers pass defense Week 15 at Broncos. Against Broncos quarterback Bo Nix, 302 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, 8.9 yards per attempt, and a quarterback rating of 134.7. The Packers pass defense struggled against Bo Nix, who carved them up. Key number 5, Packers defense. This is a holistic look at the Green Bay defense now. Last week against the Denver Broncos, they allowed 34 points. Bo Nix passed the ball 34 times, ironically enough. 34 is the number commonly used in this key. In the Week 15 game, meaning Nix threw the ball 34 times. Denver went 4 for 4 in the red zone. Packers could not get Nix on the ground at all. No sacks against Bo Nix. Couldn't get him on the ground. Green Bay's defense gave up plenty of points against the Denver team that was able to move the ball a ton. The Packers secondary allowed 42 yards and a touchdown to Broncos wide receiver Little Jordan Humphrey, 85 yards and a touchdown to Broncos wide receiver Troy Franklin, and 113 yards and a touchdown to Broncos wide receiver Cortland Sutton. Key number 6, Bears wide receiver DJ Moore, week 15 versus Browns. 5 targets, 4 receptions, 69 yards, 2 touchdowns. DJ was able to get himself going against a really bad Cleveland team. Key number 7, Bears wide receiver Colston Loveland, the rookie out of Michigan, week 15 versus Browns. 5 targets, 4 receptions, 63 yards. The rookie had himself a nice day versus the Browns at the crib. Key number 8, Bears wide receiver Luther Burden III, a rookie out of Missouri who was out because of an ankle injury this week. This is what he did last week against the Cleveland Browns. He had 7 targets, caught 6 balls, picked up 84 yards. And as I mentioned before, no Roman Dunze for the first straight game with a foot injury. And Bears running back Kyle Monungai out of Rutgers only had 33 yards against the Browns last week. Key number 9, Bears running back DeAndre Swift, week 15 versus Browns. 18 rush attempts for 98 yards, 5.4 yards per carry, and he scored twice. And on the season, Swift has 935 yards, averaging nearly 5 yards per tote, and he has 7 touchdowns on the ground. Key number 10, Packers rush defense against the Denver Broncos last week. This was better than their pass defense. The rush defense was a lot better for Green Bay, so at least you hang your hat on that. Against Broncos running back R.J. Harvey, 65 yards, averaging 3.4 yards per carry. Key number 11, Packers offense 2025 week 15 at Broncos. 26 points in 4 of their last 5. In week 15, the Packers scored 26 points against the Denver Broncos, went 1 for 4 in the red zone, 4 field goals, just 2 touchdowns in the game. Key number 12, Packers quarterback Jordan Love, week 15 at Broncos, 276 yards, touchdown. Love was intercepted twice and finished with a quarterback rating of 68.3. Key number 13, Bears pass defense, week 15 versus Browns. They played very well against Browns quarterback Shedeur Sanders, who of course is the son of the Hall of Famer and current Colorado head coach Deion Sanders. They picked Sanders off 3 times, quarterback rating of 30.3, which is worth if you did nothing but spike the ball into the ground on every single play, as Jaguar Gator 9 like to say. And they did not allow Sanders to throw a touchdown against them. And that leads us into key number 14. Bears defense, week 15 versus Browns. Chicago defense played really well last week. Only allowed Cleveland to score 3 points, 1 field goal. That was it. 4 for 14 on third down. The Browns could not take advantage of their third down opportunities, and only 1 red zone trip. Key number 15. Bears pass rush week 15 versus the Browns. Versus Browns quarterback Shedeur Sanders. 5 sacks, a season high for the Chicago Bears, and Sanders was pressured on 52.4% of his dropbacks. Key number 16, Packers offense week 15 at Broncos. Jordan Love was sacked on 3 separate occasions, and he was pressured on 52.2% of his dropback. Jordan Love passed the ball 40 times in week 15 against Denver. Jordan Love was hit 15 times last week against Denver, so Jordan Love took a beating. Key number 17, this is the rookie out of Texas, Matthew Golden. Week 15 at Broncos, he was targeted 4 times, caught 3 balls, picked up 55 yards. They'll be chasing this rookie around during tonight's contest. Key number 18, Packers wide receiver Jaden Reed picked up 55 yards on 5 receptions, targeted 6 times. Packers wide receiver Romeo Doubs had 36 yards last week against Denver. Packers wide receiver Dontavian Wicks had only 6 yards last week against the Denver Broncos. Key number 19, Packers tight end Luke Musgrave, week 15 at Broncos. 6 targets, 4 receptions for 52 yards. And finally, key number 20, Packers running back Josh Jacobs, week 15 at Broncos, 12 attempts, 73 yards, 6.1 yards per carry, touchdown, had no issues slashing through the Broncos defense last week in Mile High City. He caught Jordan Love's lone touchdown pass of the game. Do apologize for that. We had a couple little distractions during this, but I had to stay focused. I know my mom just knocked on the door a couple moments ago, and so we were in the middle of recording. Sorry about that, but I had to stay locked in and focused because when that camera is rolling, when I see that red dot on the camera, meaning we are recording, you got to stay locked in. Because right now, the Eagles just started their game against the Commanders, so that's probably why she knocked. And we'll be watching the Eagles game as soon as we are done, because we are recording this late afternoon on a Saturday, right as the Eagles Commanders game is getting going. So once I record and finish this episode, we will watch the Eagles game and see what the Eagles are doing. So again, big game, week 16, Packers versus Bears. The NFC North division supremacy is at stake. Two teams that know each other well. Chicago 10-4, Packers 9-4-1. A lot on the line with 3 weeks to go in the regular season. Next week, we will have episode 14 of What You Need to Know. Saquon Barkley and the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles against Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. We'll be back with you next Sunday. I know this is a Saturday show. We'll be with you next Sunday in our traditional time slot for that week 17 game that will have a lot of implications in the playoff picture on the NFC side and the AFC side as well. And that is it for episode 13 of What You Need to Know, starring Tamir Moore. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. Again, make sure you like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell so you'll be notified of all of our latest content. Don't be a lurker. Most people who watch YouTube are not subscribed, so make sure if you like this content, make sure you subscribe so you tell me that you want this content to keep going the way that it has. Until next week, this is Tamir Moore saying so long from Chicago and the home studio here. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas, everybody, since obviously we will not be back with you until after Christmas. And we will see you again next week for the Week 17 Eagles versus Bills matchup. Bye-bye, everybody. What's up, guys? It's Tamir Moore. I appreciate you for watching today's video. And I look forward to seeing you next time for another YouTube video. In the meanwhile, don't forget to like and subscribe, and also check out my social media profiles and my YouTube profile, which I provided in this outro screen. So long, everybody, and have a great day.